Good evening, Hellcast listeners, and welcome to Episode 5 of the Tales of Redlar. In last week's episode, you will recall, Sirs Mich and Hellermoon discovered a plot by the villagers to keep all the comely maidens hidden from the betrothal search. This only made them more eager to find the perfect maiden for their Antichrist, Redlar. Meanwhile, Sirs Duncan and Nightshade apparently walked into a village which was in the process of hiding their maidens. One of these maidens, Strega, struck a chord in Sir Nightshade's heart and loins. He could not get the thought of her violet eyes flashing fire and defiance at him out of his mind, nor did he try very hard. Yet Strega has disappeared. What is going on in Redlarovia? Tonight, the seeds of rebellion. On waking the next morning, Sir Nightshade's thoughts immediately went to the mysterious Strega. Who was she? Was she really the innkeeper's daughter? Most of all, what had become of her? While Nightshade was pondering all this, Sir Duncan jabbed him in the ribs. "Are you listening to me, Shade? Pay attention, damn it! We must return to meet the others. We also have to find out why the towns and villages are hiding their maidens. What thoughts have you on the matter?" "Shade, where's your mind? What do you think is going on?" Sir Nightshade, shaking off his stupor, looked at Sir Duncan and asked, "Where do you think Strega went?" "Gods, Shade, snap out of it! We must return to the others and see what Mich and Hellermoon discovered. I wager there were some bonny lasses about when they reached town, or our Lord's name isn't Redlar." So Duncan and Nightshade journeyed back to their rendezvous with the other knights Redlar. By the time they got back, Sirs Mich and Hellermoon were regaling the others with tales of beauteous, comely maidens and what they had discovered at the town. Duncan and Shade related what they had discovered, and of course Shade told the others about Strega. It was obvious to all that Shade was enamored of Strega, though he had only seen her that one time. It was Sir Mich who finally spoke up. "Do you think there's some kind of plot to keep Redlar from finding a new concubine?" The others all stared at him. Duncan replied, "But what possible reason could there be for such a thing? Lord Redlar is benevolent and kind to all who worship him. Perhaps these peasants need a lesson in who is their lord and master." "Duncan, that won't work. We need to find out who is behind this plot. Who is daring to cross King Redlar? His fury will be horrible. Should we go to him and tell him now, or should we find out more?" asked Mich. The knights Redlar debated that question late into the night. Duncan and Beast wanted to determine who was behind the plot, while Mich and Commander wanted to return to the castle and get new orders from King Redlar. Nightshade and William were determined to seek out Strega. William hadn't seen her, but he'd heard enough to know he wanted to see this beauty Nightshade was enamored with. So that's what they did. Duncan and Sir Beast would prowl around and see what they could discover, while Mich and Commander would ride off to report to King Red. Nightshade and William would go off seeking Strega along with Sir Hellermoon. Sir Hellermoon's presence was required as a chaperone to see that the others didn't get sidetracked on their mission. They would all meet in Herbgavina in 10 days' time and compare notes. Back in Redlarovia, at the castle, King Red was impatiently waiting to meet his newest concubine. He was not to be satisfied by War Machine, and even playing with his children gave him no pleasure. Perhaps his discomfort was brought about by the prophet Elijah, who could still be heard exhorting people to refuse the mark of Redlar. Redlar was not even satisfied by watching the long lines of pilgrims entering Redlarovia for the census and to receive his mark. Something was wrong in his kingdom. He could sense it, like a burning in the pit of his stomach which nothing could quench. But what was it? Red retired to his throne room to watch the census process on the global broadcast network on his big screen TV. While watching Redlar Vision, Red noticed something strange. In all the long lines at all the stations his network was covering, there was not one comely wench. All the females he could see were fat, or old, or warty. What the heck? Where are all the pretty young things? What is going on? "Refuse the mark of Redlar. Refuse the mark of Redlar. The end of days is near." That prophet, whoever he is, has got to go. Someone shoot him. Guards ran to do Redlar's bidding, but when they tried to shoot the prophet, their guns melted in their hands. They tried to grab him and were knocked on their asses by huge electrical shocks. With that, the prophet cried, "Your days as the Antichrist are numbered, Redlar. You cannot win." "I will not have this rebellion in my land. Send for my knights, call them back, we must crush this foe. Where are all the beauties of the kingdom? Can Redlar destroy the prophet? What of the knights Redlar? And who is Strega? Join us next week for another episode of the Tales of Redlar. Sweet dreams till then, and remember, it's only a fairy